look at our studio. Now we're joined by 19 smiling faces and a Burnley fan as well. Because the Fans Forum has been busy today up in Sky Sports News discussing transfer deadline day. And we look forward to getting a few opinions from them now. And we have to start with the Sunderland fan. What's your name?
Rachel.
Rachel. Well, I hope you enjoyed that victory. When you think about Sunderland now, having seen the team creep up to 8th, what has it made you think about what might have been possible this January and what might still be possible this season?
I think, honestly, if you'd asked us this question at the beginning of the season, our kind of genuine hope was just to survive, just to stay there. Now we've started off so strong, and I think a mention has to go at the recruitment team. We've signed a lot of essentially unknown names, and they've come up trumps. I think in terms of what to expect, I know lately, bar tonight, it may look like we've took the foot off the gas, but we have been plagued by injuries. We had AFCON, and I think that Sunderland, dare I say, are a force to be reckoned with this season, genuinely.
I think they're going to beat Liverpool next week.
Champions League decided, they're now 3 points behind it. I mean, Europe has to be realistic now as well. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, the club a lot better than me. You know the rivalry with Newcastle a lot better than me. I mean, surely the two things you're looking at, could you get Europe and finish above Newcastle?
I think finish above Newcastle, absolutely.
Is that more important?
No, nah. Ask them, they'll say it is. Ask Sunderland fans, will say no. If a European place is an option, and I don't know whether I want to put it out there or not, whether it is, I would be absolutely over the moon, like overjoyed. I think for the last 8 years I've watched Sunderland in the depths of League One, not struggling in their first season in the Championship, and then to where we are now. You couldn't write it. Just make another Netflix documentary.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Just one signing, Nilsson N'Gulo, just been signed. You heard that one, Rachel?
Yeah.
Another dynamic sort of wide forward player with Simon Adingra going out. I suppose that's one that didn't work, Adingra. Essentially,
yeah. I mean, the actual swap looks to be, I don't want to say like for like because I don't know anything about kind of the new incoming, but I know he's played with Noah Siddiqui, our midfielder, before, so if he's a better fit for us, I'll take it. And as I said before, we're signing just unknown names, not tried, not tested in the Premier League, and it hasn't done us too bad so far.
Let's pass the mic on to our Burnley fan. What's your name, sir?
Lee.
I mean, I'm sorry about tonight, Lee, and I'm kind of sorry about January as well. How do Burnley fans, how do you feel about the way it's gone?
It's terrible, isn't it? There's no two ways about it. How can we come up with over 100 points, 20 odd points above Sunderland, and just not compete? Just not compete in the Premier League whatsoever. It just proves that Parker can't do his job in the Premiership. He's tried it 3 times now, just failed every single time.
How does that equate to that then?
I just don't think he's got the pull power. Who wants to play for Scott Parker? I think that just shows.
Do you think fans around club players around Europe know or knew too much about Regis Lebris?
You got a point, but I think signing unknown names is what's got them where they are. I think there's been no rumours today we're going to get anyone in. We need a goal scorer. We've got James Ward-Prowse, which just doesn't fill us with any kind of confidence. And tonight we were dreadful. From what I've seen, dreadful.
Would you lay the blame then? I mean, I'm interested in the fact that you're talking about sort of Scott Parker. We've spoke a lot tonight about the situation Burnley as a club as a whole. Forget the manager. And I likened you to a little bit like Norwich, probably 10, 15 years ago, where every season you come up, everybody knew you were going to go down. And I think Norwich probably had different managers. Burnley have had different managers in that time. So do you not look higher up than Scott Parker?
It is becoming that now, because obviously our owners now own Espanyol, and their form has completely dipped. It looks like they're having more fun in the sun over there than looking after the club they initially purchased. And have we got the right people in recruitment to get the right players in? Have the club spent the money in the right places? Clearly not. Brozier's been a complete waste of money. He's scored 1 goal. He's done nothing else. And we've got a lot of unknown players who just aren't doing what they've been putting the team to do. Walker, bless him, what a signing he's been. But he looks great, as does Dubravka, but the rest of the squad just don't look like they're not clicking.
You tell us what you really think, Lee.
Yeah.
Let's remind everyone what January looks like then in terms of the January deals. These are the major signings. And Manchester City, obviously, top of that list with Antoine Semenyo, and also pulling in Mark Guehi, which is some business from them. This Jurgen Strand Larsen one in second place has finally got through today. That's £48 million. One that's not on that list, it's going to happen in the summer, is Jeremy Jacquet, Liverpool's new signing. Jamie, is going through January with that as the takeaway. Do you think that's good business?
That remains to be seen. Listen, it's potential, it's one for the future. It could come back to bite Liverpool on the backside if Liverpool were to get, not even a serious injury, any injury to either, Virgil van Dijk or Ibrahima Konate, then they would have a huge problem. Because right now, I think Liverpool's Champions League position is on a knife edge, considering the competition around there, and it's not just Manchester United and Chelsea right now, as I see when you look at the league table. But I still think they've taken a huge risk in not bringing a defender in right now.
We had a little look earlier. Our team had a look for us, did some research on what they're getting in Jacquet. And this was interesting. We did the comparison. And of all the centre-backs in the Premier League, the closest match is the guy on the right-hand side, Ibrahima Konate. And those characteristics that are similar, well, the standout one is the percentage of aerial duels won. We know that Virgil van Dijk is very high on that list always. So is Konate, and so is Jacquet. Sorry, Jamie, I'm looking over your head. But blocks, progressive carries, passes is an interesting one as well. And it looks like they're getting an interesting young player. What's your name? Sorry.
Abby.
Abby. Hi, Abby. Are you pleased with this one?
I am, but I'd have rather have had Guehi. I'd rather have had that tried and tested Premier League player. He wanted to come and play for Liverpool, so I can't understand in my head how he's ended up going to City and why we haven't sort of tried to get him instead. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't this the Liverpool model a little bit?
Well, maybe, but I don't understand why you're bringing in another young centre-back. We've already got Leone there. Yes, he's 18 and he's injured, but at the end of the day, Van Dijk's contract's going to run out in a year and a half. Konate doesn't look like he's signing a new one. We're running out of time here, and we're going to end up with two really young lads, not proven. I want them to have as much time as possible to learn from the likes of Van Dijk, learn from Konate, and if he's not coming till the summer, it just puts a little bit of doubt in my mind.
I agree a little bit what you're saying in terms of getting somebody right now. I think when you look stylistically at what Jacquet is, it tells me that Konate probably not signing. I think Liverpool are going to go and buy a proper centre-back in the summer who I would imagine would play alongside Virgil van Dijk. And then you've got two really good young centre-backs, but they still need games, they still need to play. But one of them in Leone is coming back after an ACL, so it's not going to be an easy season for him next season. Virgil van Dijk is also going to be on the back of a World Cup. He's going to be 12 months older. So I think Liverpool will, if Konate doesn't sign, they sign another player to replace Konate, top of the range centre-back to play right now, and then you've got these two who'll back up, and I still think they'll get plenty of games. Now, when you mention Guehi, I think the situation with Guehi changed for me. I think in the summer, let's not forget, Konate's not had a great season, we all know that. But in the summer, Guehi was getting brought in to provide competition, not necessarily take his place right away. Konate had been fantastic with Van Dijk the season before, and Guehi was bringing in stiff competition. I think it got to the stage with Konate this season where it was actually, when you're buying someone, I think it's to replace him now, because maybe he's not going to sign, or maybe he's not the same player. Then I do look at Mark Guehi, and I think, I worry about his height. I do when I think of the makeup of the Liverpool team. Think of sort of Wirtz in midfield, McAllister, Frimpong, Carragher at the back, and then you bring in a centre-back in who was not the biggest. For me, Liverpool had to go and buy a giant in the centre-back, and I think in this young lad, he's definitely that, and I hope the one they bring in again in the summer also has that.
There's also the huge wage as well, which Manchester City didn't balk at, and they managed to get Mark Guehi done, and also Antoine Semenyo, who was a player in hot demand, and I'm sure Liverpool would have been among those who would have been very keen to take him. Manchester United too. That's the City business. They let Oscar Bob go, and Stefan Ortega just nipped across to Nottingham Forest. But two big signings. Where's our Manchester City fan in that back corner? Have you got a microphone, sir? What's your name?
Matt.
Hello, Matt. What do you think of this business? It's for the here and now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at the names there, Guehi, Semenyo, arguably two of the best players in the Premier League this season. Semenyo, probably the best winger. We can't argue with that. And, Guehi was felt like minutes away from signing for Liverpool in the summer. So, yeah, obviously got to be pleased with that. You know, Gvardiol and Diaz go down injured. You're thinking, you know, Max Elaine comes back on loan. He did okay, but that is not going to be enough. And, yeah, Guehi coming through the door, it was a dream come true signing, really, at the time. But, you know, going what Carragher said before, you know, with Guehi at Liverpool, I don't think he's a guaranteed start at City when Diaz and Gvardiol are fit. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes into next season. But for the as and now, I think it's good business.
A lot of business has been done over the last 12 months or so, hasn't it? We've got a list for you, actually, Matt. We can show you what that looks like. It was a very active last January, quite unusually so, wasn't it? As they brought in Mamouche, Gonzalez, Kusanov, and Vitor Reis, who we haven't seen too much of. And then Reinders, Aït-Nouri, Cherki, Trafford and Donnarumma come along in the summer as well. That's a big old spend in 3 different windows. So how much better do you think City are for that business, Matt?
Yeah, it's business we had to do. It's business we had to do. You know, the way things went last season, I think post-treble, it kind of just caught up with us. We didn't really plan correctly and quick enough, I don't think, after that success. I think we maybe got a bit complacent, you know, with the signings we had. We let Gundogan go, our treble-winning captain, and we brought in Kovacic, decent player, but very different. You know, I could go on. But, yeah, with the injuries we had and the likes of Kevin De Bruyne moving on in the summer, we had to do that business in January. You know, you look at the names there, like Vitor Reis, obviously he's out on loan, but the likes of Nico Gonzalez, I think, has been excellent this season. Omar Marmoush, without him, last season, I'd argue we didn't get Champions League. His goals were crucial. So, yeah, I think it's business that, don't get me wrong, maybe would look better spread out across a few windows, but it was business we had to do.
There's a City fan who's fallen out the right side of the bed this morning, I think.
Just about.
Very optimistic, which is good. Big deal done on deadline day was Jurgen Strand Larsen, who's gone from Wolves to Crystal Palace. Where's our Crystal Palace fan? Here we go. I'll show you a graphic first and then I'll come to you because a lot of questions been asked, of course, about Crystal Palace with Guehi going and back in the summer it was, of course, Eze, and then we thought that Mateta was going and that's not happened, but Strand Larsen, Johnson and Guesson coming in, and we thought Dwight McNeil. That one seemed to have gone in and gone out, hit the post and bounced out. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I don't think he would have been good depth. I think considering the European demands we've had this season, we've looked pretty thin on the ground, and he's someone who has played a lot of Premier League minutes. He's versatile. I think he would have been a good option, but yeah, I was a little bit confused when that link came out earlier.
Are you confused generally about Crystal Palace right now?
I don't think so. I think when you're a team like Palace, there's a food chain, right? And we're always going to sell our best players to better teams. And it doesn't matter what we do in the summer. If Arsenal come knocking for Eze, if City come knocking for Guehi, they're going to want to leave. I think the reason it kind of feels different with Palace is because we took advantage of those players being here. We actually won a trophy, so people's expectations went up. But I don't think that's necessarily fair. And I think it's a bit of a weird time for us to execute a rebuild when we're in our first European campaign. But you look at that window on paper, there's been so much noise about Guehi, about Mateta, about Glasner as well. But I think our squad has got stronger. I think we've signed 3 players one of whom we wanted, Guesson, we wanted him in the summer. And then you've got 2 players who scored a combined, 30 Premier League goals last season for Villa and for Wolves. Spurs and for Wolves. So I think we've got stronger as a squad overall.
So just pass the mic over to our Wolves friend here. So, evening to you, sir. Jurgen Strand Larsen this season, let's kind of brush over that a little bit. Mm-hmm. If they're getting the last season's Strand Larsen, what does that look like?
Good player, very good player. I think 14 Premier League goals last season. Him and Matheus Cunha probably the biggest reasons why Wolves stayed in the Premier League last year. But of course, all eyes are on this campaign. He has scored 7 in all competitions, but in the Premier League, 0 open play goals, just the one from the penalty spot. So I think Wolves, considering what happened in the summer with the failed Newcastle bids and so on, I think he was a player, come that deadline, he checked out Wolves. He knew January, that's when I'm going to leave the club. You see that from his comments that he made at for his Crystal Palace interview today. So I think Wolves have done very well to squeeze this amount of money out of this deal. And it's obviously, Wolves have got one eye on the Championship now, and it's all about preparing for that. And Jurgen Strand Larsen was never going to be a part of that journey.
Which echoes a lot of, Jamie, what you were saying before, really, wasn't it? He was quite positive on Jurgen Strand Larsen from what he saw last season. We'll show you a comparison of Strand Larsen with another centre-forward in the Premier League that he does share quite a lot of qualities with. That's Jean-Philippe Mateta. And the interesting one was, yes, they both contribute in terms of the goals. This is to point out, this is the Strand Larsen of last season, but both really good on the aerial duels. And what we saw earlier was this ability to hold the ball up, Jamie, at the top of the pitch, which is crucial for a team like Crystal Palace, who want to play in that Oliver Glasner style.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing was, Glasner's always gone with that one striker, hasn't he, the two number 10. Do you think there's any way the two of them could actually play together?
It would require a change of system, but when you've got two players of that quality, then I don't see why not. I mean, they're both good enough to start for Palace, and it's for a club like Palace to have Larsen and Mateta as our strikers, it's an embarrassment of riches, I think.
I think Larsen, when I looked at him from last season, now Wolves have struggled for the last couple of seasons, and I used to look at him and think, not that he was a top-level striker, but he definitely shouldn't be playing for a team near the bottom. He should be playing for a team I'd associate normally with Crystal Palace around the middle of the table. So I think you've actually got a good striker there. And actually, when you think of this season, and the last couple of seasons been a great success, and Mateta's been a huge part of that, but he does miss an awful lot of chances, doesn't he?
Yeah, this season he's not been himself in front of goal at all. He's still got 8 goals, but generally speaking, his performances haven't been to the level they were last year. If you told a Palace fan 6 months ago we'd signed Strand Larsen for £48 million, I think everyone would have been buzzing about it. Football fans have very short memories. He was a top Premier League striker last summer, and hopefully he can do the same thing for us.
Losing your manager. Short memories. One of the things you can do on the Finalysis app, by the way, is value players. So last summer, Jurgen Strand Larsen was valued at 48 million, which is what Palace have paid, and that current value is 25. That's a rating given by Wolves players. You've probably seen enough of a fellow who checked out after Newcastle's bid in the summer. So a bit of good business for Wolves, and perhaps they can spend that and make hay in the Championship next season. Let's pass the mic to a West Ham fan if we can. At the back, there we go, sir. And we were all keeping a very close eye on this because Nuno Espirito Santo obviously left Nottingham Forest, and there was a suggestion that once January came along, he would get very active with people close to him in trying to drive a situation to get West Ham out of the danger they find themselves in. So 5 senior players have arrived, with Dizazi coming on loan today. Subject to confirmation, that one not quite over the line. But how do you reflect on that business?
It's a difficult window. I think we went into the window with the centre-back being our problem position. I think we end that window with it still being an issue. Axel Disasi yet to be confirmed. We had a domestic loan in Igor. We've sent him back to Brighton. So if that doesn't get over the line, I would have rather had Igor available to play for us than no one at all. Obviously, we saw on the weekend that Tadebo's now got a ban after being sent off at Chelsea. So we're in trouble when it comes to that. When you look at the club as a whole, obviously, we're comfortably in a relegation battle for some pretty poor performances this season, and we've just finished the transfer window operating at a profit, so we needed a striker. We brought in 2 kind of forward players that are really changing the way that we can play, and have kind of resulted in, creating spaces for us and creating chances in games that have resulted in our uptick in form in the last few weeks. But
are you confident that'll continue?
Look, I think we've got a lot of quality across the squad. I just don't think there's been enough players that have performed well. I think obviously it's been up and down. We've seen multiple managers across the club this year. I think it can continue. I think we've got enough quality in that team to stay up in the Premier League. But we are 6 points off safety, and we can't defend. We're averaging 2 goals conceded a game at the moment. 48 goals in 24 games is not good enough. So with our centre back options that we currently have, we're going to have to outscore opponents.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the teams down the bottom there are the ones who are trying to fight. I can see the Leeds fan in my eye line as well. Can you throw that microphone across? Because I think you've been pretty quiet. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen at Leeds this January.
It's a typical January under current ownership. I think over the last 3 windows, January windows, including this one, we've brought in Connor Roberts on loan 2 Januaries ago. Nobody last January. And Facundo Buonanotte this year on loan. We've probably left it a bit tight. I think we've definitely left it a bit tight. I think there's question marks over the goalkeeper position that we've got right now. We've operated between Lucas Perry, who came in and hasn't really settled to life. Carragher had an incident at the weekend. So a goalkeeper was probably something we needed to look at properly. Left back is a position as well that we're probably a bit weak in. James Justin and Gabby Goodmunson are excellent, but James Justin's been injured this week. Gabby Goodmunson was injured the week before. And then you look up front and you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Mecha. They've both been excellent, but Mecha's already missed a couple of games this season with injuries. And we've got all of our fingers and toes crossed at this point that Dominic Calvert-Lewin doesn't get injured, because if he does, given how Leeds are set up to play this year, you've got a bit of a problem. Joe Pirro's very good, but he's not a target man, and Leeds are playing very much with a target man. Strand Larsen was somebody we would have liked to have gotten, but the money didn't seem to be there for him. There was enough there to put a bid in, and then we haven't gone after anybody else, and we've pretty much this morning shut up shop and said, that's it, we're done. But I think we're
Perhaps
probably...
there's an inner confidence.
Maybe, but again, if you look at the previous windows, the first time they did this, it didn't work out. We missed out on promotion last year. Calculated risk, the club will say. This year, I think it's a massive gamble.
Last year when you got 100 points?
Yeah. Calculated risk,
I think that worked out okay.
It worked out all right, yeah. But it's always a what if, and this season will now have a massive if stuck beside it, and it'll be a case of if these players stay fit and if nothing major happens against us, we'll be okay. We could be okay. We're playing well enough. There's enough there. But it is that question mark. We would have liked maybe one more player at least.
There's a big if on Friday as well, isn't there, against Nottingham Forest. And I've engineered the microphone into the hands of our Forest fan as well at the front here. We've been busy in here, and every time I looked up, it seemed like Forest were chasing somebody or a bid has gone in for somebody else. You'll probably know better than us what's actually gone on for Nottingham Forest in this window. But has it worked out as you expected?
No, not at all. It's very uncharacteristic of Forest not to sign 1 million players on deadline day. I was half expecting to be seeing breaking news every 2 seconds, like always happens, but it hasn't been the case at all. We've just been rejected again and again and again by various players in various positions. One thing I will say is I am so glad we signed a left-back. That was a priority for this window, definitely, especially with Savona now injured. We had only 2 fit full-backs, so that was definitely the priority. I would have liked to have seen a centre-back as well, because the drop-off between Murillo and Milenkovic to then Cunha and Morato is quite catastrophic, with all due respect. So actually, I think it's been quite disappointing. It's been a strange one. I think we've been throwing money around in terms of bids to players I wouldn't have necessarily seen as a priority. I mean, the 40 million bid for Mateta, I just don't understand, especially after we'd already signed Lorenzo Luca. That would have given us, we already have 4 strikers now, so I don't understand how that was the priority at the time.
You know the way the club went in terms of bringing Edu in and sort of the players you're trying to, bring in last summer gone. Do you think there could be a problem, going forward behind the scenes about the type of profile that you do bring in now, considering that Sean Dyche is your manager?
Oh, 100%. I think Forest fans have all been very vocal with our opinions on Edu. I think last summer, the recruitment was very, very poor. And you can see that between what Nuno wanted and what Edu wanted. I think Edu wanted to sign big names because he thought that would get us through in the Premier League. That was the natural progression. But Nuno wanted to sign traits. And I'm going to mention Adama Traore. He would have been a brilliant signing for us. He's very, very quick. And with Elanga going out...
Fans not so sure about that.
Oh, I am sure. I am sure. He would have fit in so well for Forest.
Fingers
but we didn't, and that was...
Good luck.
Well, we haven't got him.
No, for the West Ham fan I was looking at. So we've talked about Man City, and Matt made a very good case for Man City have had a good window there. Does anyone think they've had a better transfer window than anybody else? Which club would say that they've topped everybody else?
No one's ever happy, are they? No one. Who's had the worst one?
Spurs fan?
Yeah.
Come on then, make a case for why yours has been the worst.
I think the squad's weakened. We've sold our top goal scorer 3 years in a row now. That's Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, now Brennan Johnson. We've broken...
That was a good deal for you, Brennan Johnson. Sure.
It was all right, but when you look at it from the facts, we're struggling to attack, struggling to score goals. And we've sold another proven goal scorer in the Premier League. We haven't exactly got bucket loads of them. Richarlison's out injured. Kudus is out injured. So is Kulusevski, Madison. I know these players are out, but isn't there nothing we could have done to bring in a loan and bring in an extra body just to add something to the squad? We had 11 players. I know Christian Romero this evening's come out and had a go at the board almost for leaving us down to the bare bones. And I think there's an argument to say that is unacceptable. No matter who the manager is, no matter what your beliefs are behind the manager, leaving a squad of a Premier League standard to 11 Premier League senior players isn't acceptable, especially for a club like Spurs.
Do you know what I feel sorry for?
The ones we haven't spoke to.
And there's plenty of those, but no, it's the fans of Brentford, and Brighton and Bournemouth, who haven't got a clue about any of the players that they sign. They just see them and go, oh, that'll be a good one, because we trust in our boards to make the right decisions. But thank you so much, guys, for joining us this evening. It's been very interesting to hear those.
Sorry,
those
Pat, I couldn't get you in. I
thoughts,
couldn't
and
get the
sorry if we
Evertonian in.
didn't manage to get to you. The Evertonian at the back as well.
One Evertonian to another.